6:45 a.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by J. Yogaraj and read by Mario Vijayavardhana. The headlines. Nearly 622,000 students will sit for the 2020 O-level exam today at 4,513 centres across the country. The Sri Lanka Transport Board says a special bus service will be in operation for candidates sitting for the 2020 GCE Ordinary Level Examination. In coronavirus news, 352 new positive cases reported yesterday. Sri Lanka's COVID death toll up by 7 fatalities. China's permanent representative in Geneva, Ambassador Zhen Zhu, has extended China's strong support to Sri Lanka in his official statement in the interactive dialogue on the OHCHR report on Sri Lanka. Rubber recultivation activities on 4,000 hectares. Free electricity facilities to Samurdhi beneficiary families who do not have electricity. In news overseas, Myanmar coup, deadliest day of protests as police open fire. In sports news, Sunil Narine indicates he is not ready for West Indies' return. Nearly 622,000 students will be sitting for the 2020 O-level exam today at 4,513 centres across the country. The Education Minister, Professor G.L. Peiris, noted that 50 million rupees have been allocated to conduct the examination. The minister added that he personally held discussions with all 9 provincial education directors pertaining to the conduct of the exam. The minister added that special buses and trains will be deployed on all 9 examination dates. The O-level exam will commence today and will be held until the 10th of March. Meanwhile, the Education Minister, whilst participating in an inspection tour of the Malayadeva Model College, Kurunegala, yesterday, inquired on how the examination centres are prepared for the GCE O-level examination. The Minister said the results of last year's GCE Advanced Level examination will be released in April. Furthermore, Professor Peiris said steps will be taken to reduce the gap of 1.5 years in granting admission to universities to those who pass the A-level exam. The Sri Lanka Transport Board says a special bus service will be in operation for candidates sitting for the 2020 GCE O-level examination and the exam staff due to commence today. The SLTB Deputy General Manager Panduka Swarnavansa said the special buses will operate based on the exam timetable. He further stated that regional and depot managers have been informed to accommodate requests for additional buses if the need arises. Swanhansa noted around 750 buses are operational across the island under the Sisu Saria program. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Sri Lanka registered 148 more positive cases of COVID-19 yesterday as the total novel coronavirus infections reported within the day reached 352. The Department of Government Information says 346 of the cases are close contacts of the earlier cases linked to the Paliagoda cluster. 4 others were detected from the prisons cluster and the remaining 2 are reportedly arrivals from foreign countries. New developments have pushed the country's confirmed COVID-19 cases count to 83,242. According to COVID-19 figures, 3,824 active cases are still under medical care at select hospitals and treatment centres. Meanwhile, the total recoveries reported in the country now stand at 78,947. Sri Lanka has also witnessed 471 fatalities due to the outbreak of the pandemic. The Director General of Health Services yesterday confirmed 7 new COVID-related fatalities in Sri Lanka. The new development has pushed the country's death toll from the virus outbreak to 471, the Department of Government Information said. A 56-year-old man from the Kurunegala area was under medical care at the Kurunegala Teaching Hospital at the time of his passing away on Friday. The COVID-19 infection and acute diabetes were recorded as the cause of death. A 55-year-old man from the Anuradhapura area passed away at his home on Friday. The cause of death was recorded as acute complication in the respiratory system due to the COVID-19 infection. A 59-year-old man from the Gampaha area was transferred from the Dompe District Hospital to the National Institute of Infectious Diseases after testing positive for the virus. He died due to COVID-19, pneumonia, blood poisoning and liver infections. A 79-year-old woman from the Rukgahavila area was moved to the Homagama Base Hospital after testing positive for the virus at the Vatupitivala Base Hospital. She fell victim to COVID-19 pneumonia and shock due to blood poisoning on Saturday. A 51-year-old man from the Demalagama area, upon testing positive for the virus, was transferred from the Colombo North Teaching Hospital to the Homagama Base Hospital where he died. The cause of death was recorded as COVID-19 pneumonia and cancer. An 81-year-old man from the Colombo 5 area tested positive for the virus by a COVID test carried out at the Colombo National Hospital. An 87-year-old man from the Pannipitia area died yesterday at the Kandy National Hospital. The cause of death was reported as COVID pneumonia, blood poisoning, acute kidney damage and heart disease. China's permanent representative in Geneva, Ambassador Zhen Zhu, has extended China's strong support to Sri Lanka in his official statement in the interactive dialogue on the OHCHR report on Sri Lanka during the 46th session of the Human Rights Council. In his statement, China's permanent representative in Geneva says that as a friendly neighbor of Sri Lanka, China sincerely hopes that Sri Lanka maintains political stability, ethnic solidarity and national unity and wishes Sri Lanka greater achievements in its national development. Quote, "We commend the government of Sri Lanka for its efforts to actively promote and protect human rights, advance sustainable economic and social development, improve people's living standards, protect the rights of the vulnerable groups, advance national reconciliation and combat terrorism. It's a consistent stand of China to oppose politicization and double standards on human rights, as well as using human rights as an excuse in interfering in other countries' internal affairs. We are concerned about the clear lack of impartiality shown in the OHCHR's report to this session on Sri Lanka and express our regret over the failure of the OHCHR to use the authoritative information provided by the Sri Lankan government," unquote, he said. A special program is implemented to recommence rubber cultivation activities on 4,000 hectares of land. The necessary funds have been allocated for this purpose. The cultivators will be provided with financial support and other technical support as well. State Minister Kanaka Herat says the cultivation activities will be carried out on newly identified abandoned lands in addition to the traditional lands. The minister made these remarks while addressing the public at a function held in the Moragala district yesterday. The Ratana Sutra chanting organised by the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation will take place today at the Satkorale Naramela Ganegoda Sri Sudarshan Raja Mahaviharya. This will be the 124th program to be held island-wide. The Ratana Sutra chanting will be aired at 6:30 p.m. today over the SLBC's Sinhala commercial service, the City FM and regional services.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
Minister Dalla Salahaperuma says effective measures have been taken to provide electricity freely to Samurdhi beneficiaries and the relevant families who do not have electricity facilities as of this date. The necessary funds have been allocated for this purpose. The minister said the present government pursues a correct path in the development drive. The main objective of the government is to provide job opportunities to all the graduates. The minister made these remarks while addressing the public at a function held at Mathura yesterday.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhaleba.
In Watchlight, the residents of Dehivela, Mount Lavinia complain that garbage is not collected on time along certain inner roads. This has caused immense difficulties to the motorists and residents of the area. This has created a health hazard in certain areas too. This is for the attention of the Dehivela Municipal Council.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always. All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
In world news headlines, Myanmar coup, deadliest day of protests as police open fire. Iran nuclear deal, Tehran rules out informal talks on reviving accord. COVID-19, Brazil variant of concern detected in UK. Police have fired on protesters in Myanmar, killing at least 18, the UN Human Rights Office says, on the deadliest day of anti-coup rallies. Deaths were reported in several cities including Yangon, Davao and Mandalay as police used live rounds and tear gas. Security forces began the violent crackdown on Saturday after weeks of largely peaceful protests against the 1st of February military takeover. Government leaders including Aung San Suu Kyi were overthrown and detained. Iran has ruled out holding an informal meeting with the US and European powers on ways to revive a nuclear deal, insisting that America must lift all of its unilateral sanctions first. Iran's foreign ministry spokesman said it was not an appropriate time for the talks proposed by the European Union. The US said it was disappointed but that it remained ready to re-engage in meaningful diplomacy on the issue. Tensions have soared since the US left a nuclear deal with Iran in 2018. A coronavirus variant of concern first detected in Brazil has now been found in the UK. 3 cases have been detected in England and separately 3 in Scotland. In England, officials are still trying to track down one of those who tested positive for the new variant. The 3 Scottish residents had flown to northeast Scotland from Brazil via Paris and London, the Scottish government said. And now the main points of the world news segment once again. Myanmar coup, deadliest day of protests as police open fire. Iran nuclear deal, Tehran rules out informal talks on reviving accord. COVID-19, Brazil variant of concern detected in UK. That was world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always. All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
And now in development news, Lanka Hospital's internationally accredited multiple award-winning healthcare provider has been named the official healthcare partner of Prima Ran Pievara, an exclusive loyalty program for premier customers of Prima Ceylon. Prima Ran Pievara offers a wide range of benefits to its elite customer base. The partnership enables Prima's premier customers access to loyalty rewards through their Visa debit card, which can be redeemed at Lanka hospitals.
Development News is brought to you by
CIB offers valuable prize for New Year from 1st of 15th of March. Our choice in our own place. CIB.
Development News was brought to you by
CIB offers valuable prize for New Year from 1st of 15th of March. Our choice in our own place. CIB.
And now in sports news, in cricket, Sunil Narin's absence from the West Indies T20I squad to play Sri Lanka next month came after he told the selectors that he was not ready to return to international cricket. Narin played 4 games for Trinidad and Tobago in the Super 50 Cup, though missed Saturday's final through injury, but has not played for West Indies in any format since August 2019. He was placed on a warning list amid suspicions of an illegal bowling action during last year's IPL, but has since been cleared to bowl.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Despite the unprecedented circumstances followed by the outbreak of the COVID-19 global pandemic, the nation's trust bank demonstrated resilient performance with a bottom line growth of 9%. However, the net interest income fell short by 15%, while the interest margins eroded by 80 bps due to the combined impact of the lower interest regime, interest rate ceilings imposed on the concessionary interest rates granted on debt moratorium, the sluggish credit demand from the private sector, and the selective lending approach adopted by the bank amidst the elevated credit risk prevalent in the market throughout the year that led to a contraction in the loan book by 7%, adding pressure on the interest income growth.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
And now in economic news, financial markets are expected to become more proactive to support the growth ambitions of the government. The relationship between the private sector and the government was envisioned as being coordinated growth-oriented approach. The central bank will continue to maintain liquidity in the markets. The central bank governor, Professor W.D. Lakshman, said financial markets will become proactive, maximizing funding sources for growth-oriented endeavors of the public as well as private sectors. That was economic news. And now the weather report. The Met Department says mainly fair weather will prevail over most parts of the island. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the central, Sabargamur and Uva provinces during the morning hours. This weather report was issued this morning at 4:30 a.m. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. That was the weather report, and now the headlines of this news broadcast once again. Nearly 622,000 students will sit for the 2020 O-level exam today at 4,513 centres across the country. The Sri Lanka Transport Board says a special bus service will be in operation for candidates sitting for the 2020 GCE O-level examination. In coronavirus news, 352 new positive cases reported yesterday. Sri Lanka's COVID death toll up by 7 fatalities. China's permanent representative in Geneva, Ambassador Zhen Zhu, has extended China's strong support to Sri Lanka in his official statement in the interactive dialogue on the OHCHR report on Sri Lanka. Rubber recultivation activities on 4,000 hectares. Free electricity facilities to Samurdhi beneficiary families who do not have electricity. In news overseas, Myanmar coup, deadliest day of protests as police open fire. In sports news, Sunil Narine indicates he is not ready for West Indies' return. That concludes this news broadcast, and now it's back to your host as always on a Monday morning, Sharifa Tahir on the other side to keep you in great company. Over to you, Shari.